Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about why the Crash 4 announcement is so important to fans of platformers. Now if you're anything like me and you're a fan of platforming games, like a big fan of platforming games, the Crash Bandicoot 4 announcement should have you hyped to the absolute highest degree. And there are a lot of reasons why. One of the main reasons is because we're seeing a successful return of a character who, while he's never disappeared from the gaming industry, he certainly hasn't been as relevant as he used to be. And I don't like to use the term relevance or irrelevance when it comes to video game characters, because as long as there's fans of those characters and as long as they're around, they're never truly irrelevant. But Crash definitely hasn't been as at the forefront as he used to be, obviously. There was a time where his games sort of kind of fell off in popularity and he kind of just floated in obscurity for a while, and then there was a short period of time where Crash wasn't getting anything, and then of course we got the remasters, which kickstarted this Crash Bandicoot return and showed that there's definitely a fan base out there for platforming games and for these classic mascot characters to make a comeback. And that is what I think is the best thing possible right now for fans of platforming games, because if you enjoy platforming games like Mario and Donkey Kong, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Little Big Planet, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, then you should just be super hype at the fact that we're seeing an upward trend for platforming games in general, and that Crash Bandicoot is sort of kind of the poster child right now for this return in popularity of platforming games and mascots from back in the day. I should also say that really coming back into the forefront of popularity in the gaming industry. Now there have been platforming games that have been popular before Crash, and there have been games that have come out or have been announced that definitely showed that the audience for platformers were there. Yooka-Laylee is a good example. When it went on to Kickstarter, it made its money in like hours. It didn't take very long. So clearly, there were a lot of fans there that wanted a collect-a-thon game that harkened back to the classic Banjo-Kazooie games enough that they were able to fund their game and put it out there. And while it didn't get the best reception from everyone, I enjoyed it again. I said it before, but I enjoyed it, but not a lot of people were on, the same page as me with it, and that's fine. It definitely showed, at the least, that there are a lot of people out there who still want to see platforming games like the ones that we played back in the 90s and, the early millennium. We want to see these games stick around because we love them. And there have been plenty of indie titles, of course, that have come out that have proven that there are fans still there for platforming games. There's obviously a difference between 3D platformers and 2D platformers, but at the end of the day, they're all the same genre. Okay, 3D is more of a subgenre of the platformer, but they're all the same thing at its core, and there are a lot of people who want to see it. And there's a reason why these characters have endured after all these years. Characters like Crash and Rayman, Mario, of course, Donkey Kong and such. These characters have endured because they have games that a lot of people have great memories of. Platforming games are a lot of fun. Collect-a-thons are a lot of fun. They can get tedious if there's a certain, overabundance of collectibles in them. Donkey Kong 64. But even those games have their fans. Not everybody hates 100 million collectibles. Some people like it because it's content and it's more things to do. Look at Mario Odyssey, for example. Mario Odyssey had a ton of things to collect. I don't want to say Breath of the Wild is a platforming game, because it's really not, but it has platforming elements. And it has collect-a-thon elements, as much as you may want to disagree with that, but Korok seeds, okay? That's all you gotta say, Korok seeds. You're collecting them, alright? Either way, it's got collect-a-thon elements to it. And people, they love the content in that game. There's definitely people out there who love the collection aspect, and there could be 1,000 collectibles, and they'll do it because they want to 100% it. That's something that some people enjoy. So there's definitely an audience for these games, and Crash 4 is definitely showing these games can be successful enough to warrant sequels to these classic franchises. And the thing is the new Crash 4 game looks sensational. Now, obviously, we can't talk about how good it is because it hasn't come out yet. And while the reception of it from its trailer is good. Maybe the gameplay won't be that good. I don't think so, though. I think it looks great. From what we could tell from the trailer, it looks like it harkens back to the original Crash Bandicoot games, and that is what the fans want. The HD remasters have proven that the market is there for the classic platformers, and now they're taking that, example of the sales of that game, and they made a whole new game playing off of that design idea. Keep it at its core classic, but add some new things in there. The Mario series has been doing this for years and has remained successful. So it's about time that these other companies start following suit and keep their games, especially these classic ones, at the core the same, but add some stuff in there to make it a little bit different, to make it a little bit more unique amongst its sequels. And that's what people want. That's what your core audience wants. That's beautiful. And the new Crash trailer looks fantastic. The visuals look great. The designs for the characters look good. I really like how they subtly redesigned characters. That's another thing. They didn't go over the top and extreme with these character redesigns, okay? We didn't get Crash Bandicoot with a bunch of henna tattoos on his arms, okay, where he looks like a tool. No, he looks like classic Crash with a little bit more of a cartoony aesthetic. He just looks like an updated Crash Bandicoot. And he looks great. I love the cartoony personality that they put in there for him. I didn't hate the HD remaster Crash. I see a lot of people are kind of hating on it now that this new Crash came out. They're saying how much they hated the HD remaster with the realistic fur and all that stuff. I didn't hate him. I thought he looked good. I loved seeing the HD Crash. But I'll be a liar if I say that I didn't like this new Crash a little bit more. I think he definitely has that sort of Mario redesign where he's kept the fundamentals of his classic design, but he looks like he's been brought forward into a more modern aesthetic, and I think he looks great. Coco looks good, even though some people don't really seem to like her that much, the way she looks, but I think she looks great. The only character that I'm not a big fan of is Cortex. I like the Cortex from the remasters a little bit more than this one, but he still looks fine. There's nothing wrong with him necessarily. I just don't think he looks as crazy and manic as his older design does, but that's whatever. It's okay. I can live with it. Overall, the game looks great. The visuals look good. It looks like it's taken a lot of great cues, and this is something that I want to see with more classic platforming games that I enjoyed back in the day. I want to see them come forward with stuff like this too, and I'm hoping that and it's not just Crash that came back, obviously. We got that announcement for Ratchet & Clank on PS5, and also Little Big Planet getting a sequel on PS5, and that's great too. But those games never really went away. I mean, they went away for a short period of time, but they never really disappeared to the length of where kind of Crash went. But it's good that we're seeing those games continue on, because it's showing again that platformers aren't completely dead. The platforming game is certainly alive. And all they have to do is just keep it simple to where the fans really like it, and the fans won't leave. Fans will keep coming back. They'll want this. This is a proper Crash sequel, and I am absolutely so excited to see this, especially after replaying the remasters and just falling in love with Crash Bandicoot all over again like I did when I was younger. So seeing this sequel now, the timing is just absolutely perfect. And I'm really hoping to see more platforming games that I love come back like Crash in a similar way. There's been rumors here and there about a Spyro sequel, and obviously Spyro had a similar thing to Crash where he got his HD remasters, and if they do a new Spyro game, hopefully Toys for Bob, who is handling the new Crash game, I believe it's rumored is handling the new Spyro game as well, which I think they would, because I'm pretty sure they own Spyro. Either way, they are probably the ones doing it, and based on looking at Crash 4 and seeing how much of the classic Crash Bandicoot games it incorporates while just doing some new mechanics to make it fun, I am so excited if they're if they're making a sequel to Spyro. Oh man, dude, I would absolutely love to see a proper Spyro sequel done in the same vein as the classics, like the HD remasters. That would be incredible. But I think the character that mostly comes to mind for a lot of people when looking at these classic platforming characters returning and getting these proper sequels is Banjo-Kazooie. I already made a whole video about how I want to see Banjo come back, and I really think that Crash bodes really well for a possibility of seeing Banjo return. I don't see how Microsoft and Rare can see how much good press these platforming games coming back are getting and not want to dip their hand into the pool here. Like, throw your hat into the ring. Bring Banjo back, give them to a good company who will make a good game, and that's it. I think people would go nuts for a new Banjo. There's a lot of fans out there who are waiting for a new Banjo-Kazooie game. So this new Crash game really, really bodes well, in my opinion, for a proper return of other classic platforming games. And now, obviously, smaller studios are bringing back some old platforming games from back in the day. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger got a redo recently. They're bringing back KO the Kangaroo. Anybody remember him? I sure as hell didn't until they said they were doing a remake. Then I was like, oh, it's that guy. So there's definitely obscure 90s, not just 90s, but obscure mascots from platforming games coming back. So why the hell haven't they brought Banjo-Kazooie back yet? That's what I want to know. How has Banjo not returned? Yeah, he returned in Smash. We get that. But we want to see a new Banjo-Kazooie game. It's not that hard. And obviously, I haven't really referred to Mario a lot in this. I'm making it sound like platformers completely disappeared. But Mario sort of stands on its own. Mario is at a level beyond any of these other platforming characters or platforming games because Nintendo has endured all these years and probably aren't going anywhere anytime soon, and Mario just kind of stands on its own. Mario is on its own mountaintop in terms of all these sorts of things. So I'm not even including him in this discussion because I'm really talking about platformers outside of Mario, non-Mario platformers. But even within Nintendo, we have sort of this thing where if it's not Mario, you don't really see it in terms of other platforming games. Donkey Kong is a prime example. Donkey Kong had Returns and Tropical Freeze, and we have yet to see a new Donkey Kong game since Tropical Freeze. It's been 6 years. Donkey Kong is probably the next most popular platforming game under Nintendo besides Mario, and yet he gets absolutely nothing. So it would be nice if we're going to finally see a new Donkey Kong game come out, whenever the hell that's going to happen. Who knows? I don't know. But it would be nice if Nintendo sees the competition coming out with these types of games and decides, oh, well, we better buckle down and, you know, give a little bit more attention to our other platforming games. In the end, though, I think we are going to see more platforming games come forward. I think we're going to see more companies dip their toes into the water and start bringing them out. And I think as fans of the genre, we can look forward to some great games coming out in the near future. I really hope so. So I hope you're excited too. Are you excited for the new Crash game? How hype are you? How not hype are you? Maybe you looked at the trailer and you didn't see anything that exciting. So, I mean, obviously everybody has different viewpoints. Maybe you weren't huge into platformers, but perhaps you played the remasters of the games or Odyssey maybe recently and you've started to fall in love with the genre. Let me know down in the comments section. I would love to see other people's opinions on, you know, platformers in general. You know, what's your favorite platformers? What games did you grow up with that you love? Or what platformers have you recently discovered? Did you play Banjo recently from his appearance in Smash? Just let me know down in the comments. If you really like this video, do me a favor and give it a like. It really helps my channel out. And obviously, if you really want to help out my channel, feel free to subscribe to me. I try to post gaming videos every week. I talk about any number of things. I'm focusing a lot on Smash right now because there's obviously a lot to talk about with it, but I want to talk about all different games, all different genres. As my channel grows, I would really like to just extend my reach across the gaming spectrum and just talk about all sorts of different games and all the different companies and everything. So anything you can do to help my channel grow would be absolutely fantastic. But even if you don't want to subscribe, just you watching this video means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.